And we are back. 5:14 is the time. And again, we wanted to give you a quick update on the fires burning in Southern California. Live pictures now available here coming out of the Southland. KTLA's chopper high above. You can see the hillside still aglow with pockets of fires burning all throughout the Angeles National Forest here north and east of downtown LA. Fire officials reporting, though, that they've made significant progress against that fire, and those pictures just went away. So we'll bring up some AP photographs here of the same scene just taken during daylight hours yesterday evening. Let's bring these full screen. Here you can see a chopper above dropping water down there on that hillside. The U.S. Forest Service says containment right now has gone up dramatically. Yesterday it was about 5%. Now it's 22%. So that's the good news here. You see fire crews surveying the scene here on the hillside above this community here. Again, in these hills just north and east of downtown LA. The fire area that has burned about 200 square miles now. And the damage assessment teams report that the number of residences destroyed has also gone up. It's now at about 62 homes destroyed. Yesterday it was about 53, so that's gone up at least 9 homes here in just the last 12 or so hours. Here's another shot. Here you can see a house, flames right at its backyard. The Sheriff's Department says the number of homes under mandatory evacuation orders like this neighborhood in its jurisdiction has been reduced to about 4,000 homes under a mandatory evacuation order. Sheriff's spokesman says about 2,000 or so in the city of Los Angeles itself remains under mandatory evacuation orders as well. More on this fire throughout the day. In the meantime, we also have new details in the search for Hassani Campbell. The last known video of the missing Fremont 5-year-old was shot by Walmart surveillance cameras. Look in the background here. You can see Lewis Ross, and there his foster mother, and there in the shopping cart is little Hassani Campbell, and there you see him walking there next to his foster father, Lewis Ross. Now, the latest development in this case is that Lewis Ross has been released from jail this morning. Police let him go. They say they don't have enough to charge him with murder. On his way out, though, he did stop briefly to speak to reporters. Take a listen.
We've been through a lot the past couple of days. But again, like before, we want the focus put back on finding Hassani. As far as what we went through, this obviously was a traumatic experience for us both. I was personally worried to death about Jennifer being in her situation, and then when she was out, I felt a little bit better. But then I had to deal with my situation being in there as well.
Now, although Lewis Ross has been released from jail, Oakland's police chief Howard Jordan says both Ross and Hassani's aunt and foster mother, Jennifer Campbell, are at the center of the 5-year-old's disappearance. Take a listen.
We are continuing to put our efforts into solving this case and potentially rearresting Mr. Lewis Ross or Jennifer Campbell at some point. And we know for a fact that Hassani Campbell never made it to Oakland on August 10th to College Avenue at 4:15, as it was previously reported.
Now, Oakland police hope someone may have recognized that video and come forward with information that might help solve the case. Call Crime Stoppers. There is, again, that $10,000 reward for any information leading to the whereabouts of Hassani Campbell. We'll have more on this story as it develops. 5:18 is the time, though. Let's get an update on the weather forecast this morning. Drew Harmon keeping an eye on that. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, James. Keeping an eye on a morning that's a little bit warmer than what we saw yesterday, and we're going to be heading into an afternoon that is warmer than actually the warmest day of the week. Taking Bay areas, but things are going to remain pleasant and mild as we head through the 3-day weekend. 5:19 on the KRON 4 Morning News. Let's get a check on traffic with George.
All right, let's start off, Drew, with a look at the ride on Interstate 580 yesterday. Reported. You know, there were problems with the horns on Caltrain, so they actually repositioned them above the cabs, above the locomotives, and then they got complaints from people that the horns were too loud, so they've lowered the volume just a little bit so that residents along the trackway won't be complaining so much. James?
All right, George, thank you much. 5:21 the time. Now to the latest developments in the J.C. Dugard story and her confessed captors, Philip Garrido and his wife, Nancy Garrido. Well, new this morning, we're hearing for the first time from Nancy Garrido's lawyer. Take a listen.
I've been trying to establish a line of communication with my clients so that I can get behind what is going on. I mean, I'm sure you understand that this is a horrendous thing for her. I mean, I realize it's horrendous for JC and her parents and the children. But my concern right now is that my client get a fair trial. And to do that, I have to open a line of communication in which she will confide in me and talk to me, so I can formulate any defense that is available, so I can discover it and formulate it. That's part of my job.
All right, we're going to continue to follow this story. 5:22 is the time, though. We've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And we are back. 5:25 is the time. New details for you this morning. Those 2 American reporters jailed in North Korea for 4.5 months said that they never intended to cross a frozen river into the communist country and were firmly back on the Chinese side when North Korean border guards grabbed them. In an article posted on Current TV's website, Laura Ling and Yuna Lee said that they didn't spend more than a minute on North Korean soil before turning back, but they say it was a minute they deeply regret. The 2 were pardoned last month after former President Bill Clinton went to North Korea, and you can read the entire article on our website. Just log on to KRON4.com and click on news links. All right, the time is 5:26. We're going to take another break here. We'll be back, though, with more in just a moment, so stay with us. We'll be back in just a few.